You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Carterville, Missouri teacher is in for a scare of her lifetime as she has to undergo surgery for a life-threatening condition.
We'll have her story. Also, the FBI is investigating an officer-involved shooting that happened at a casino in Wyandotte, Oklahoma.
And it is bitterly cold to start, but take a look at those clear skies. It is going to start to get warmer. How warm will it get? We'll tell you coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. What begins as a felony car stop turns into a manhunt. On Thursday, Seneca police attempted to stop a vehicle for a felony car stop. The driver attempted to flee from authorities. Now, officers placed tire deflation devices near the Seneca Sports Complex north of Bethel Road. After the devices stopped the car, the driver attempted to flee on foot into a wooded area. Missouri State Highway Patrol, Newton County Sheriff's deputies, Seneca police assisted in the apprehension, which took place shortly after 5 p.m. Thursday evening. No further incident or injuries. No names have been released at this time. Well, the FBI is investigating an officer-involved shooting at the Riverbend Casino in Wyandotte, Oklahoma. Authorities say a person pulled a weapon on a Wyandotte Nation police officer in the casino parking lot. This happened Thursday morning. That officer then shot the individual. The officer was not hurt, and there's no word on the person's condition. And since the shooting happened on Indian trust land, the FBI is investigating. A middle school student in Chanute, Kansas claims he was stabbed on school grounds by a pencil. Now, according to guardian and grandmother Dottie Keller-Mann, her grandson has been harassed and assaulted since the beginning of the school year, and the school staff and faculty have not done enough to help stop the bullying.
I don't understand a resource officer by self-admission that he can't tell the difference between a child that's being bullied and assaulted from horseplay.
KOAM reached out to Royster Middle School. The superintendent said in a statement the students responsible for the injury were subject to our standard disciplinary process. And you can read this statement on our website in its entirety, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Carterville, Missouri teacher who's an avid runner was referred to Kansas University Health System for having a life-threatening irregular heartbeat. Now, she was diagnosed with ventricular tachycardia. And Dr. Sheldon and KU's med staff performed surgery and installed a defibrillator to monitor any abnormal heart rhythms post-surgery.
We wanted her to be protected, so we discussed this with her and decided to put in a defibrillator. And so that's a device that sits underneath the skin, and if she has a life-threatening rhythm issue, it's capable of treating her and shocking her back to life if that was to happen. Hopefully it doesn't.
Well, Dr. Sheldon believes the irregular heartbeat was due to scar tissue that was located inside the patient's heart. We'll hear more from the teacher later in our show. Well, several local businesses are getting in on the Super Bowl spirit, including Adeline Designs in Girard, Kansas. The screen printing shop gave customers a chance to get some special Chiefs gear ahead of the big game.
On top of orders that I already had, and it was one of those between my team and I, we kind of all had a discussion through group text right towards the last half of the game. And everybody basically at the end of the game, I think because the adrenaline and the hype and everything that was going on, we all just decided to go for it. So now we're doing it.
All right, the Super Bowl kicks off February the 12th.
We have a bitterly cold start for us today, but it's the last very cold morning we're going to have for a while. Take a look at the MoDOT camera, 30-second in range line. Sun is beginning to rise. We've got clear roads, traffic moving nicely across the area. 7th in range line looking back toward the sunrise. Look at these colors. I'm always just impressed with these colors, especially on clear days. Look at how beautiful that is. However, it is cold. 17 in Joplin, feeling like 9 with a north-northeast breeze at about 6. It is cold this morning. We knew it was going to happen, and it did, and it is cold. We got 14 Yates Center, Fort Scott, 16 Pittsburgh Parsons, 20 Miami, Neosho, Monette, and 18 in Carthage. And you factor in even that light breeze, makes it feel like 3 in Fort Scott, 5 Nevada and Iola, 10 in Columbus, and 10 in Carthage and Lamar as well. So definitely bundle up this morning. We are going to see plentiful sunshine as we go through the day, a high of 41 degrees. And then by 8, we hit our low of 30. We're going to hit it fairly early because as we go into the overnight hours, Clouds will increase and temperatures slowly start to rise towards sunrise as we look at 35 by 6 tomorrow morning. So we're breezy and cloudy this weekend, up to 48 degrees tomorrow, 57 on Sunday, 62 Monday. Could have some shower chances Tuesday as well, and 53. Better rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. We're cooling off a bit, but still above normal. Then we're watching Friday and Saturday as we're keeping an eye on a wintry system, a possible wintry system Friday night into Saturday. Even if we do see this, as you can see, temperatures remain quite mild. So we will keep an eye on this. And then after that, we warm back up to 45 by next Sunday and check out these overnight lows back into the 40s. A couple of cold nights, but a lot better than where we are right now.
All right, well, coming up, an officer in Texas risked his own life by running out mid-tornado to ensure his canine partner is safe.
And later, all eyes turned to Ticketmaster following the Taylor Swift fiasco. The latest challenge for the online ticket seller. Can they recover in time for Beyoncé's world tour? You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, fentanyl is the deadliest drug in the United States. It's often found in combination with other illicit drugs like cocaine and heroin. But increasingly, fentanyl is showing up in pills disguised as prescription drugs, including opioids. Users who buy them on the street may end up with a potentially deadly drug they never intended to take. Dr. Sanjay Gupta went inside a secret forensics lab, which has the mission of fighting the growing threat posed by fentanyl.
I like looking at pictures, even if they're not my own family. Tell the story.
He was such a happy baby. Oh my God. He was so happy all the time.
Is it hard to talk about?
No, I love talking about him. I talk about him to anybody that'll listen. I loved seeing him on the hockey rink, and I think that was really, really his happy place, you know, where he could just sort of be free. His friends packed up immediately from schools, wherever they were, and came over, and the family started showing up, and I was just in shock. You know, we tried. We were doing CPR, and not a chance. He was long gone. I don't say he overdosed. I say he died from fentanyl poisoning. Truthfully, like at the end of the day, to me, he was murdered. Because he asked for one thing, they gave him something different, and it took his life.
On a single sad night, November 2nd, Dina's son, Matthew Loudon, became one of the nearly 92,000 fatal overdoses in 2020 alone, much of it driven by fentanyl. Problem is, there's so many of these drugs that are now on the street that the DEA had to set up a secret forensics lab just to try and keep up. We're making our way there now. Scott Olton is Deputy Assistant Administrator of the DEA's Office of Forensic Sciences.
You're getting more pills, and more of those pills are coming back positive for fentanyl? Almost every one of them come back positive.
In 2019, the DEA seized roughly 2.2 million pills. In 2022, 50.6 million pills. At the beginning of the opioid epidemic, many of the pills were authentic. The majority of the pills being seized today, at the borders, on the streets, even in schools,
over 99% of what we see are fake. They contain fentanyl.
99%, that's mind-numbing. And look closely at how sophisticated the counterfeiters have become.
And just for an example, these are some of the ones that we will seize that have the same M and the score and the 30 on the other side.
If you look at what is real here and the rainbow fentanyl, they're not even really trying anymore to disguise this. This is clearly fake. But also, if you look at this 800 grams of fentanyl, that turns into 400 to 500,000 potentially lethal pills. Think about that, one bag, potentially 400 to 500,000 lethal doses.
It's the message the DEA wants out there. One pill can kill. The days of experimentation are over. And so this sophisticated lab has to keep up, trying to analyze these pills down to their molecular structure, using the equivalent of an MRI machine.
We have seen hundreds and hundreds of unique combinations. So we'll see one with contains fentanyl, one with fentanyl and xylazine, one with fentanyl and caffeine, one with fentanyl and acetaminophen, and you don't know what you're getting.
How hard is it to keep up with how much counterfeit stuff there is out there?
The market is constantly changing. So we are trying to do everything we can from a science base to keep up with that. One pill can kill. Don't take the chance. It's not worth your life.
It's a message Dina wishes Matthew could have heard. So instead, she has made it her mission to be his voice.
As soon as you can start having these conversations with your children at an age where they can really comprehend it, I think it just needs to be talked about. It's Russian roulette. You never know what you're going to get.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, reporting.
Dina Loudon says her son started getting pills in high school and they were easy for him to find. She urges other parents to keep their eyes open for any warning signs and keep talking to your children about the dangers of drugs.
It's bitterly cold out there, but we do have warmer weather on the way. We'll talk about how much warmer it's going to get. By the way, it's about 20 degrees or so. And when that warm up's going to get here when we come back. A police officer and K-9 near Houston are used to helping others in their community. But during a recent tornado, it was the police dog himself who needed saving. Marcelino Benito reports on his handler's daring rescue.
Ready to go work? This crime-fighting duo has been on the streets of Deer Park for nearly 6 years.
My best buddy, yeah.
And boy, do they have stories to share.
He's put himself in harm's way for me before.
So 1 week ago, Officer Joel Nitchman got his chance to do the same for his narcotics canine, Roni.
I'll never forget the noise. That's when I knew this was a big tornado.
The pair had just got back to the police station from training. When the wind started picking up, Roni was in his kennel in the squad car.
The thought of debris or the car flipping over, I couldn't do that to him. Couldn't have him out there during that.
Surveillance cameras capture Officer Nitchman run outside, lightning flashing, barely able to see in front of him.
I knew it was something bad when there was things hitting my face. I don't know what. I knew it was debris of some kind.
It was about to get much worse.
Once I went around the car is when all heck broke loose.
The wind and rain so strong he couldn't get Roni out.
I could barely open his door. When I did, he's a smart dog. He saw what was going on outside and he's like, I'm not coming out.
Officer Nitchman knew he had seconds to get back indoors. At one point, visibility down to 0 around him.
And I'm like coaxing him like, come on, buddy, let's go.
Seconds later, the pair seen rushing back around the squad car towards the safety of the station. The front door nearly blocked by a fence that had been tossed around in the wind.
Never been through anything like that before.
1 week since that close call, that video has gone viral, and Officer Nitchman has been celebrated for choosing to put himself in harm's way to save his canine partner. But he says he did what anyone would have done, and he'd do it again in a heartbeat.
I love that dog. He's my hip attachment almost every day of the week. He's a part of our family. You can't leave a loved one like that. There was no way I was going to leave him like that. Oh, he's a good boy. He's a smart dog.
1 week later, the team back on the job after an experience.
I'm grateful that he's okay.
That only brought them closer together.
Upon investigation, National Weather Service reports the tornado was an EF3 in strength. Thankfully, no severe weather in our area that we need to worry about. We've got clear skies out there, albeit really cold, unfortunately. However, things are going to change. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, also showing clear skies out there and clear roads, which is a nice sight to see after everything we've been through the last several days, especially for our friends down south of I-44. We're at 17 in Joplin, feeling like 9 with a north-northeast breeze at 6, and across the region again. Bitterly cold, but the last bitterly cold morning we're going to have for a little while. 14 Fort Scott, 16 Pittsburgh Parsons, 20 Miami Neosho Monette, 18 in Carthage, and 17 in Lamar. And even with a light breeze, feeling like 3 in Fort Scott, 5 Nevada, Iola, Stockton, feels like 10 in Columbus, and 9 in Miami this morning. We are heading for beautiful day, cool but beautiful, sunny skies, 41 for the high. This is our low at 8 o'clock tonight of 30 degrees. As we go overnight, clouds will increase, and as they do, temperatures slowly rise along with that, up to 35 by 6 a.m. That's going to feel a lot better than 15 that we're going through right now. All right, let's look ahead to the future. What does this warm up have for us? Well, it's got about a 20-some-odd degree increase in temperatures in terms of highs. If you want to feel better about it, it's about 50 degrees warmer than where we are at this time right now. We're up to 48 tomorrow, 57 by Sunday, cloudy skies, breezy over the weekend, 62 by Monday. Maybe some showers in the evening. Evening showers again possible Tuesday down to 53. Better rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. And even though the temperatures drop back a little bit for the highs, they're still right at or above normal. And then check out these lows. I think we can all deal with waking up at these temperatures as we head through the next several days. We got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Robert Fife. Sergeant Fife served in both the Navy and Air Force. He served in Germany during World War II and in Korea during the Korean War. He was a POW that survived a march across Germany and was liberated by the British. During his service, he earned multiple medals, including the Purple Heart, the Victory Medal, and the Air Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters. Native of Toronto, Kansas, we thank you. Today's four-state hero.
Well, it was like a scene from a movie, a fiery crash on the Las Vegas Strip in front of tourists and bystanders.
But a daring rescue by a nearby police officer and a Good Samaritan helped save the driver. Kim Passett has the story.
This is the view from Metro Officer Derek Stebbins' body camera. The man next to him reaching in, a tourist from Kentucky who happened to be walking by the Venetian when the crash happened. This white BMW slamming into the median, hitting a palm tree in the middle of the strip.
If we weren't there, I think he would have been burned in the vehicle. Give me a red for a minute, have medical expedite, he's trapped in the vehicle.
As Officer Stebbins walked to the driver's door, bystanders started screaming. The Good Samaritan jumped in the car.
Got it? Here, just go that side, go that side. Sir!
The driver was unresponsive, but they were able to pull him out.
Get hold of it. Come here. Come on, come here. I will push you. Here. Come here. Drag him. Drag him. I continued to drag him back away from the car. As I did that, it began more flames, more smoke coming out of the vehicle before it became engulfed.
I thought, well, man, somebody needs to look into seeing what's wrong with him.
Justin Mauser, the Good Samaritan, was on his first trip to Vegas when his wife witnessed the crash and he ran over to the car. When Officer Stebbins told everyone to move back, he had selective hearing.
And I don't hear very well, or sometimes act like I don't, so maybe I probably should have listened to him, but I tried to help.
I think it was awesome that he stayed. I pushed a lot of them back just to make sure the scene was safe.
Officer Stebbins was hospitalized due to smoke inhalation, but is now back on the beat, ready to protect and serve the public once again.
Absolutely incredible. The driver who was pulled from the car is now facing DUI charges.
He was taken to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery.
I mean, they pulled him out right as that car went up in flames. I mean, it is like a movie. That's how you see the movies play out. That was just an absolutely incredible rescue.
Right place at the right time there for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're back with more right after this.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. A Southeast Kansas community names its new police chief. Fort Scott's interim city manager announces an 18-year veteran of the Fort Scott Police Department as its next chief of police. Current police captain Jason Pickard will take the reins from retiring chief Travis Shelton. Now, Pickard started his career with the Fort Scott PD in 2004. He has served as a patrol officer, detective sergeant, and then was promoted to captain in 2018. Pickard will take the title of chief March 1st. The Republican-led Missouri House of Representatives is advancing a proposal to make it harder to amend the state constitution. House members voted along party lines yesterday to give initial approval to the measure. It would raise the bar for amending the Constitution from a simple majority vote to at least 60%. If passed by lawmakers, the change would need voter approval. The amendment notably would not increase the number of voter signatures needed to put an amendment on the ballot. A local woman was diagnosed with abnormal, life-threatening heartbeat rhythms. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to her about her recovery.
It was scary of, can I even go ride my bike with my kids.
Brittany lives an active lifestyle, being a mother of two, a teacher, and an avid runner. However, that all changed when she felt something was off with her heart.
It was quite shocking when I went to visit for my first visit. There was lots of tears and just like, what is happening? Because I'd never had any other issues.
She was diagnosed with ventricular tachycardia. Brittany was then referred to Kansas University Health System for screenings and an ultrasound.
And the MRI actually showed scar within a localized region within the heart called the left ventricle. And this scar is almost certainly what led to her concerning rhythm issues.
Dr. Shelton acted fast in Brittany's life-threatening situation. He led the cardiac ablation surgery, even thinking ahead by putting in a defibrillator.
We wanted her to be protected, so we discussed this with her and decided to put in a defibrillator. And so that's a device that sits underneath the skin, and if she has a life-threatening rhythm issue, it's capable of treating her and shocking her back to life if that was to happen. Hopefully it doesn't.
Brittany had a long recovery, missing 2 weeks of work. However, she is thankful for Dr. Shelton and KU's medical staff. Now she's adapting to a new normal.
After I left the hospital was painful and not awesome, but it honestly, within a month time, it was kind of just a new way of life, like having this ICD sitting on the side of my body.
Reporting in Carterville, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Brittany wants to emphasize, listen to your body. If you feel something's off, do not procrastinate getting a doctor to look at it. Well, students in Carthage, Missouri celebrate the 100th day of school. Kindergartners at Mark Twain Elementary were visited by Zero Hero, a special guest who shows up on days that end in zero to celebrate with Carthage kindergarten classes. That celebration always involves games and other fun activities.
A kindergarten teacher for many years, and so this allows me to get back into kindergarten every 10 days. So it's just a lot of fun to see their smiles and their faces and just keep me in the kindergarten spirit.
Today, kindergarten students at Pleasant Valley Elementary will present projects that they made for the 100th day. Well, this morning we're discussing trade schools.
A student from Colorado learns his way around an engine as he eventually wants to become his own boss. And he's not alone, as enrollment is on the rise at technical colleges.
With ever-increasing college tuition and a not very impressive 6 out of 10 college students even graduating, trade schools have been an increasingly attractive alternative. But the stigma of a technical college still prevails. Not quite as much, though, these days.
Which that brings us to our question for you this morning. Should trade school be encouraged at the high school level? Now, we've had a little problem with our little graphic that pops up and tells us, you know, how people, it's been a Friday, I tell you, it's been a Monday, Friday almost.
It started with your missing box.
It started there and just collapsed. But either way, you can still vote through our website, through our app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. Taking a look outside at 7th and Rangeline, it's looking very nice out there. What you can't tell is it's very cold out there as well. You can tell that if you step outside, but the easiest way is just to hold on to this forecast, because I'll tell you how cold it is. MoDOT camera, 32nd in Rangeline. Look at that, clear skies, clear roads. It looks perfect out there, and it's about to become even more perfect over the next few days. 17 though in Joplin, feeling like 9 with a north-northeast breeze at 6. Still cold for us this morning, but thanks to the plentiful sunshine, we will start to warm up. 14 in Yates Center and Fort Scott, 16 Pittsburgh Parsons, 20 Miami, Neosho, Monette. We got 17 in Lamar, and you factor in even a light breeze. It feels like 3 in Fort Scott and Yates Center, 6 in Chanute, 11 in Carthage, and 15 in Neosho. So we're starting to see the winds calm down in some areas. 41 the expected high today with abundant sunshine out there. And we'll hit our low of 30 degrees at about 8 o'clock tonight. And as we head into the overnight, the clouds will begin to increase and our temperature will slowly start to rise. We'll be 35 by 6 a.m. So as we look at the 7-day forecast, how warm can we go? Well, how about 20 some odd degrees warmer? 48 tomorrow. It's a slow warm up, but we get there. 57 Sunday, cloudy, breezy. Breezy Monday, evening showers possible. 62 though for the high. 53 Tuesday, evening showers possible. Better rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. We cool off, but still not bad. 47 and 49. And look at some of these overnight lows. So we could start some of our days in the mid-40s. And I would certainly take that, and I'm sure you would as well. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back. It's Friday. That means it's time to close out the week with our own Shannon Becker and the big 3 stories.
Yes, live and local. What's happening? Breaking news. We're out and about. Number 3 this week. Joplin News First. It was yesterday before noon. We heard from tipsters that there was a shooting at the Riverbend Casino in Wyandotte. We got their confirmed information with the FBI and the OSBI. They are investigating an officer-involved shooting. Officer fired his duty weapon after the person, not been identified yet, had brandished a weapon. That's the word they actually used. Not known what type of weapon
Now, this
necessarily.
was not in the casino, it was in
It
the
was
parking
in the
lot.
parking lot towards a service entrance behind it. Now, they remained open all day yesterday. They're still open today, so it didn't necessarily disrupt their business day, but we still have a lot to learn about what occurred. Don't even know the status of that person, but FBI, OSBI are investigating. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, live and local, and what's happening where you live.
Oh, a fire.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say, I didn't even have my list out here.
The Outrigger Motel.
The Outrigger Motel. I'm so sorry. I always have my list. The Outrigger Motel. It was late over the weekend. The Outrigger Motel, which is in Grove, it caught fire and burned, sadly displacing a lot of people. A lot of people were using the hotel over the past couple of years as a residence, especially in the winter time. So it's an unknown number of people that were displaced. The thing about the construction of the motel as such, the attic space, firefighters explained to me, is a shared space. So the fire could spread easily, like let's say one room caught fire, then that smoke and water damage could be throughout the entire roof.
So are there more people there in the winter than during the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that transitional living.
Long
sort
term.
of, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of happens. That's the reality that's being real about it. Unknown on the status necessarily of the cause of the fire, the Oklahoma State Fire Marshal is still investigating. Our number 1 story, we were there, slick road conditions on I-49. 2 tractor trailers went off the overpass of US 60. So they were on I-49 and crashed down below onto US 60. They said, both of them said to avoid crashing into other vehicles. Bridges ice first. I know I heard that for years and years until you really understand that cold air up underneath the asphalt of a bridge.
Worst place to hit your brakes.
Exactly. Or you just get squirrely and then off you go. No one suffered life-threatening injuries, all non-life-threatening injuries in that major crash. And then our bonus story of the week, Neosho, tomorrow from 10 until 5. It's the Art Con, and it's our bonus story. It's really a neat event. Have you heard of Comic-Cons they do all over the country? Well, this is kind of our local one. Neosho works really hard on this. You can dress up tomorrow, cosplay. They've got esports. They've got cash prizes. So whether or not you're from Neosho,
Fox 14 are sponsoring.
we're sponsoring it tomorrow. So look for it. They've got panels. Get out there. It'll be fun. We'll be there as well. That's our bonus story. KOAM News Now, Joplin News First.
All right, well,
I always have my list. I can't believe I didn't have my list.
that's why we have it on the prompter, too.
I'm good at this. I'm really good. I'm just kidding.
Well, we enjoy keeping you busy and seeing what you have bring to us every day. So,
I'll be out there today. All right.
On the road, on the move.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Shannon Becker. We'll be right back.
Well, taking a look outside at 7th and Rangeline, look at these clear skies. It's beautiful out there. The sun is rising. Unfortunately, at least still for right now, it's quite cold. Same view, 32nd and Rangeline from the MoDOT camera there. Plenty of cars on the road beginning their morning journey to whatever your destination may hold. And you've got clear roads to do that on, as you can see across the metro area. All right, back to current conditions. 17 in Joplin, feeling like 9. North-northeast breeze at 6. And it is cold across the region still, but we are on track for a pretty big warm-up over the next few days. 14, Yates Center, Fort Scott, Nevada. 16 in Pittsburgh, 15 in Neodesha, 20 Miami, 19 Neosho, and 18 in Carthage. And even with a light breeze, now some of us, the wind is calming down enough that the wind chill, it's still cold. I'm not saying it's not. It's just not nearly as bad as it was. But say Fort Scott, Nevada, both feeling like 3, 5 in Iola, feels like 4 in Yates Center as we start our day. But worry not. Warmer weather's on the way. This is the last frigid cold morning we're going to have for the next several mornings, so that's going to be nice. Not to say some cold mornings aren't out there, but they're not going to be this cold. 41 for the high. Sunny skies through the day. Early low of 30 by about 8 o'clock. As the clouds increase overnight, our temperatures will slowly rise with that, and we'll be up to 35 by about 6 a.m. And as we look ahead, this warm-up is a good one. 48 tomorrow, 57 on Sunday. Cloudy skies, windy conditions, breezy into Monday. 62, evening shower chances Monday and Tuesday, and then between Wednesday and Thursday, better chances of rain start to build in. And although our highs cool off a bit, they're still above normal and they're still not that bad. And then check out these overnight lows as they start inching up into the 40s over the next several nights. So some great ways to start our days and a lot better than how we're starting this morning. That's check your forecast. Now, as is tradition, here's Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
Well, there is a voluntary recall of eye drops due to possible contamination that may be linked to blinding infections and even one death. Health officials say at least 5 people have lost their vision after using Ezra Care artificial tears. Dozens of people in 12 states came down with a bacterial infection that is highly resistant to antibiotics. The eye drops were sold on Amazon and at Walmart, among other stores. Ticket sales for Beyoncé's Renaissance World Tour begins in days, and Ticketmaster is working hard to avoid another meltdown like the one that angered Taylor Swift fans last year. The online ticket seller is prompting members of the Beehive to sign up for a verified fan account in order to snag their seats ahead of resellers. Ticketmaster is also staggering ticket sales on multiple days. And Dr. Pepper has a new permanent flavor hitting shelves soon. Strawberries and cream. The company says the new beverage swirls strawberry with its 23 original flavors and has a smooth, creamy finish. Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream will be available in regular and zero sugar options later this month. Well, the Fed is raising interest rates for the 8th time in nearly a year, but Wednesday's increase was different, signaling a shift in policy that could impact your finances and the overall labor market. Cole Higgins takes a closer look.
A small step toward normal. On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve slowed the pace of interest rate hikes.
Over the past year, we've taken forceful actions to tighten the stance of monetary policy. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our rapid tightening so far are yet to be felt.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell announcing a quarter-point increase, the 8th back-to-back interest rate hike in 11 months.
This likely will be one of the last interest rate hikes the Fed puts forward this year before engaging in a strategic pause.
Economist Joe Brusuelas says this week's move means the central bank is returning to a more traditional and gentler pace of increases, citing a slowdown in inflation in recent months, along with consumer spending and hiring. Last year's painful interest rate increases, which included 4 consecutive 3/4-point hikes, raised the overall economic pain for Americans and ticked up borrowing costs.
Which will make anything for Americans that relies on credit just a little bit more expensive.
While this latest increase is modest compared to a half point in December, economists say it could still impact the labor market. Brusuelas says the Fed's repeated action to restore price stability translates into lower sales and profits and typically results in a higher unemployment rate.
We're expecting an increase in unemployment primarily in the housing sector, with some unemployment in manufacturing and across some portions of the service sector, like retail.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, Utah drone company is developing a vehicle that resembles a flying motorcycle.
They hope people could use it for their daily commute to work.
Mike Anderson has the story.
We live in a time when inventions can be built at home.
This particular machine has a continuous strand carbon fiber,
where 3D printers and machining devices help realize dreams.
Not very long ago, this wasn't a reality, so it's an exciting time to be alive.
John Manning is taking full advantage.
As a kid, I just always dreamed about flying airplanes.
And he can do that now.
I never wanted to do anything else.
But why not take it a lot of steps further with something smaller? They call it a personal flying machine.
This is something that is our real long-term goal, vision, is something that's kind of like a flying motorcycle.
As co-founder of Electrifly, Manning and his team designed custom drones like this one made for delivery. But their dream is to use that technology to make flying more accessible.
Recreational vehicle is probably where this is all going to start. The FAA has regulations that kind of limit the use of a lot of these products right now.
It will have to be a very gradual process. So far, they've tested it using very heavy boards with hopes to try a very limited manned flight later this year. Eventually, he says, it will be fully electric.
So we have a small jet engine down here that allows us to offset the lifting requirement of the batteries.
Right now, the power cells aren't strong enough to handle the lift on their own, but Manning believes they'll get there, and his team will keep on pushing.
When people see it, they might think that it's pretty out there, and it's just on the edge of crazy, but it's technologically possible.
Well, I don't fly, so that's not something I'm going to try out anytime soon. Just saying.
Be a fun way to get to work, I guess.
I guess so.
Unless it was raining or really cold.
Very true.
Well, Electrifly is currently running out of Manning's house, but they're moving to a larger space.
They expect the first models will likely cost about $400,000, so that solves the problem for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you some cash.
Yeah, okay.
The plan is to eventually make them more affordable.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
$200,000.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, it's 50% off, so.
Hey.
Hey, and we got 50% off your forecast. In fact, I tell you what, I'm going to give it to you for free because take a look at this camera from MoDOT at 32nd and Range Line. Plenty of cars out there. The roads are clear, the skies are clear, and the skies are clear at 7th and Range Line as well. We're 17, though, in Joplin, so it's cold. Feels like 9 with a north-northeast breeze at about 6. Bitterly cold temperatures across the area. 15 Iola, 14 Fort Scott, Nevada, Yates Center, 20 Miami, 19 Neosho, and 18 in Carthage. And with a light breeze, some of us still getting an unpleasant wind chill. 3 Nevada, Fort Scott, 5 in Iola, feels like 7 in Chanute, and 4 in Yates Center. Heading for a high of 41 degrees today with sunny skies out there, so it's going to be a gorgeous day. A little cool, but gorgeous. Early low of 30 right around 8 because overnight clouds will begin to increase, and as they do, our temperatures slowly rise as well, up to 35 by 6 a.m. ahead of this. 48 degrees tomorrow, 57 on Sunday, cloudy, breezy Monday, some evening showers, but up to 62. How about that? 53 Tuesday, evening showers, better rain chances Wednesday into Thursday, a little cooler, but still not bad, 47 and 49. And then take a look at these overnight lows as they creep into the 40s as we head into the beginning of next week. And I think that certainly beats 15 degrees, but that's just my opinion. We got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden is hopeful Congress can work out a deal on police reform. On Thursday, members of the Congressional Black Caucus spoke with the president at the White House. Democrats say they are ready to work with Republicans on a bill. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott tweeted he wants to find common sense solutions to pass. U.S. military officials are confident a balloon spotted high above Montana is a surveillance balloon from China, but say its surveillance capabilities are not much greater than what can be obtained with satellites. A source tells CBS News President Biden wanted to shoot it down. Pentagon officials cautioned against it because the debris risked harming people on the ground. A Pentagon spokesman says the U.S. will continue to track the balloon closely. And the U.S. is expected to announce today that it will send longer-range missiles to Ukraine. The bombs will have about double the range of any weapons previously sent. It comes as Ukraine braces for a Russian offensive that could rival the start of the war nearly 1 year ago.
We are trending warmer today, 41 for the high, plentiful sunshine, early low of 30 by 8. And as we head into tonight, temperatures start to turn around up to 35 by 6 a.m. Clouds also increasing, but they're turning around in the right direction as we are up to 48 tomorrow, 57 Sunday, breezy, cloudy, maybe some evening showers Monday and 62. And then better rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures cool down a bit, but they're not that bad as we hang out in the upper 40s.
Well, hospitals and clinics across the United States are celebrating National Women Physicians Day today.
It honors female doctors and marks the birthday of Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell. She was the first woman to receive a medical degree in the U.S. back in 1849. Dr. Blackwell also started the movement to help women gain entry and equality in medicine.
National Women Physicians Day started in 2016. Organizers say it's a great way to celebrate female doctors as well as raise awareness about the challenges female physicians still face.
And there are plenty of excellent female physicians right here in our area.
That's right.
So hopefully you never have to see them, But if you do,
well, it's a good idea if they're your family physician.
right? Well, I mean,
see
okay,
them
so
on
if you're a
regular
family
checkups and
physician,
stuff,
but
that's
I guess I'm talking,
For
specialists and
emergencies.
yeah, things like that. But otherwise, some great doctors around the area. Well, thanks so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better weekend.